Max Factor, born Maksymilian Faktorowicz, was a Polish Jewish businessman. Founder of the cosmetics giant Max Factor and Company, he largely developed the modern cosmetics industry and popularized the term makeup in noun form based on the verb. Early life: Factor, of Jewish descent, was born in Zdua Poland, to Abraham Faktorowicz and Cecilia Tandowska. His mother died in 1874 and his father, a hard-working grocer, rabbi or textile mill worker, could not afford a formal education for his 4 children. By the age of 8 years old, Factor was working as an assistant to a dentist-pharmacist. At the age of 9, he was apprenticed to a Langströmer Cube Dar, a Euro unregistered trademark wig maker and cosmetician. That experience enabled him to gain a position at Anton's of Berlin, a leading hairstylist and cosmetics creator. By the age of 14, he was working at Korpo, a Moscow wig maker and cosmetician to the Imperial Russian Grand Opera. He spent the years from 18 to 22 undertaking his compulsory military service in the Russian army, where he served in the hospital corps. Upon his discharge, he opened his own shop in the town of Ryazan near Moscow, selling handmade rouges, creams, fragrances, and wigs. He became well known when a traveling theatrical troupe wore Factor, a Euro unregistered trademark cosmetics to perform for Russian nobility. The Russian nobility appointed Factor the official cosmetics expert for the royal family and the Imperial Russian Grand Opera, an honor which led to him being closely monitored. He married Esther Rosa and by early 1904 they had produced 3 children, Frida, Cecilia and Davis. By 1904, concerned about the increasing anti-Jewish persecution developing in Russia, he and his wife decided to follow his brother Nathan and uncle Fischl to America. Worried that he would not be released from his royal service, he arranged with the assistance of a friend to take a rest cure at Karlovy Vary. After meeting up with his family, they traveled in the steerage class on board the SS Moltke III and were processed at Ellis Island on February 25, 1904. He had $40,000 in his possession. Upon arrival, his name was shortened by the customs inspector to Factor. Life in America: Factor made a new start in St. Louis, Missouri. The Factor family never returned to Europe. He sold his rouges and creams at the 1904 Welder Euro unregistered trademark fair, operating under the newly respelled name Max Factor. Unfortunately, his partner in the venture stole all of his stock and the profits. With assistance from his brother and uncle, Factor recovered and opened a barber's shop. In August 1904, Max and his wife had their 4th child, Francis Frank Factor. However, on March 17, 1906, his wife collapsed and died from a brain hemorrhage. Anxious to provide a mother for his 4 children, he married Huma Helen Sradkowska on August 15, 1906. Despite the birth of Louis on August 29, 1907, the marriage was short-lived and ended in a prolonged court battle, as a result of which Factor obtained custody of all of his children. Creation of an empire: on January 21, 1908, Factor married Jenny Cook, a neighbor. Later that year, Factor moved his family to Los Angeles, California, seeing an opportunity to provide made-to-order wigs and theatrical makeup to the growing film industry. Initially he established a shop on South Central Avenue, advertising the business as a Euro Max Factor, a Euro unregistered trademark antiseptic hair story Euro. Founding Max Factor and Company in 1909, he soon became a West Coast distributor of Lichner and Miner, 2 leading theatrical makeup manufacturers. Grease paint in stick form, although the accepted makeup for use on the stage, could not be applied thinly enough, nor were the colors appropriate, to work satisfactorily on the screen during the early years of movie making. Factor began experimenting with various compounds in an effort to develop a suitable makeup for the new film medium. By 1914 he had perfected the first cosmetic specifically created for motion picture use, a Euro, a thinner grease paint in cream form, packaged in a jar, and created in 12 precisely graduated shades. Unlike theatrical cosmetics, it would not crack or cake. With this major achievement to his credit, Max Factor became the authority on cosmetics for filmmaking. Soon, Movie stars were eager to sample the a flexible grease paint while movie producers sought Factor a unregistered trademark as human hair wigs. He allowed the wigs to be rented to the producers of old westerns, on the condition that his sons were given parts. The boys would watch the expensive wigs. Factor marketed a range of cosmetics to the public during the 1920s, insisting that every girl could look like a movie star by using Max Factor cosmetics. In the early years of the business, Factor personally applied his products to actors and actresses. He developed a reputation for being able to customize makeup to present actors and actresses in the best possible light on screen. Among his most notable clients were Ben Turpin, Gloria Swanson, Mary Pickford, Paula Negri, Jean Harlow, Claudette Colbert, Bette Davis, Norma Shearer, Joan Crawford, and Judy Garland. As a result, virtually all of the major movie actresses were regular customers of the Max Factor beauty salon, located near Hollywood Boulevard. Max Factor's name appeared on many movie credits, and Factor appeared in some cameos. He became a United States citizen in 1912. In 1920, Max Factor gave in to Frank Factor a unregistered trademark's suggestion and officially began referring to his products as makeup. Up until then, the term cosmetics had been used. The term makeup was considered to be used only by people in the theatre or of dubious reputation, not something to be used in polite society. Death. In 1938, Mr. Factor was traveling in Europe on business with his son Davis when during a stopover in Paris he received a note demanding money in exchange for his life. An attempt was made by the police using a decoy to capture the extortionist, but no one turned up at the agreed drop-off point to collect the money. Factor was so shaken by the threat that he returned at the behest of a local doctor to America, where upon arrival he took to his bed. Factor died at the age of 65 in Beverly Hills, California, in August, and was originally interred in the Bethlehem Mausoleum at the Hollywood Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. His remains were moved many years later to Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in Culver City, California. Honors and tributes. The Academy of Motion Picture, Arts, and Sciences presented Max Factor with an honorary Academy Award in 1929 for his contributions to the film industry. Additionally, Max Factor is honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Max Factor is mentioned in the classic song, Hooray for Hollywood. In a reference to his creation of Clara Bow's heart-shaped lips, the song states, "To be an actor / see Mr. Factor / he'll make your pucker look good." Family. Max Factor had 6 children: Frida Shaw, Cecilia Firestine, Davis Factor, Francis Oe Frank Factor, Louis Factor, and Sidney B. Factor. His half-brother John was a Prohibition-era gangster and con artist affiliated with the Chicago outfit. References. Further reading: Baxten, Frederick E. Max Factor, The Man Who Changed the Faces of the World. New York, Arcade Publishing, pages 172 pages. ISBN 978-1-55970-875-3. Kent, Jacqueline C. Business Builders in Cosmetics. Minneapolis, Oliver Press, pages 160 pages. ISBN 1-881508-82X. Updike, John, A OE Makeup and Make-Believe A. The New Yorker, September 1, 2008, pages 124 to 128.